State the domain and range of each of the following relations. So with A, I'm going to look at the domain, and I can see this is ordered pairs. So it's going to be elements. So domain is my x values. So I can say domain x equals, it's going to be a cursive bracket. And what is my x values? The smallest value is 1, then it is 2, it's 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. That's my domain. What is my range? I know that my range, now remember the curly g equals the curly y. So my y values is, where do I find y values? 2, 5, 8, and 11. So 2, 5, 8, and 11. So there are single elements, and that is how they look. I'll do B down here, and I'll do then C and D over on the other side. So if I look at B, they ask us, what is the domain and the range? Okay, so first thing that I have to require is what is going to be now there's no x and y values. So what is dependent? And remember domain and range. And then thinking about x and y, domain x-axis, that's the independent value. What is independent? The mass or the cost per kilogram? So you ask yourself, which one changes according to the other? Well, my mass is going to be your mass. The cost depends on how much you buy. What is the mass? So the cost depends, and if the cost depends according to my, where can I write? Over here. So if I have my graph, that is x, that is y, this is the independent, this is the dependent. So when I say the cost per kilogram, that one depends on, it means it's your y value, and y value is a range. The mass, that is your kilograms, equals, what is the domain? It's specific numbers. So the specific numbers equals 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Your range will be your cost, because that's the independent, that's the dependent value. It depends on what mass I buy, and those values are 3.5, 3.2, 3, 2.8, and 2.7. The problem here is I always have it from the smallest to the biggest. So if I want to do this 100% correctly, I'll have to change this around. I'll have to say, instead of having that, I always have my smallest value first. So this will be 2.7, 2.8, 3.0, 3.2, and 3.5. Okay, let's look at C. I'm going to use a different color not to confuse you because of that little silly thing over there. So C, I'm going to do over there. C is on this picture. So I'm going to have my domain. I know domain equals my x value. Now, on my graph, this thing means it goes on forever. So if I want to check what is my domain, what is my x, and what is my range, where do I find y values? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my ruler, and I say, where do I find x values? So remember, x values, that is all my x values on here. So where do I start with x values? Now if this thing here goes on forever, it means that this ruler will go on forever because it's still going to move to the left. So my bottom one is infinity and the top one is infinity. So instead of writing that this is from minus infinity to positive infinity, I'm rather going to say that it is all real values. So x is an element of all the real values. Where do I find y values? Now, to do y values, I'm going to turn it sideways. Where's my lowest value? So if that is my y value, and I'm going to start at the bottom and move up, the lowest value that y can be my range, it's 0. It includes 0, so it's going to be a block bracket. 0. And where's the y value is going to stop? Well, it's not going to stop, because if this carry on forever, then y is going to carry on forever, which means my highest value is going to be infinity, and we always use round brackets. D, I'm going to change a little bit because I want to show you some different answers. When I look at D, I want to find what's my domain. Domain is my x value. Where do I find x value? So my x value, my lowest x value starts at -4. And it includes -4, which means I'm going to have a block bracket -4. And it's going to go on all the way to 4. And 4 is the biggest number where I can find x values. So that will be 4. It includes 4, so it will be a block bracket. I'm going to leave a space because I'm going to give you another answer as well. If I have my range, my range is my y values. Where do I find y? Well, I start at the lowest point and I work my way up. The lowest value I have is -4. It includes a -4. And the highest number it will go to is +4. Then there's no more. So this rule of mine, this graph, my y values is between -4 and +4, and it includes +4. Another way to would have written this, and that's what I want to show you, is you could say that -4, that x is between -4 and +4. So I can say -4 is less and equal than x, less and equal than +4. But if I use this notation, I have to put a comma and say x is an element of the real values. And the same here, because it's range, it is -4, less than equal to y, less than equal to +4, and y is an element of all the real values.